To discuss is founder of equalprotect.org and Cornell University law professor William Jacobson and former Trump White House Associate Counsel May Mailman. Good morning to both of you. Happy Independence Day weekend.
Good morning.
Okay, let's jump in. William, on the case of affirmative action, the 14th Amendment really came into focus. Chief Justice Roberts bringing attention to the Equal Protection Clause, basically writing that this was violative of the Constitution for the last 50 years. So do I have that right? That basically the court is saying we've got it wrong for almost my entire life, basically. Did the Supreme Court get this right, or were we right 50 years ago?
Well, I think what the Supreme Court said is that this has been a struggle both in society and in the law to come to grips with the legacy of slavery and other problems, Jim Crow, but that the 14th Amendment was passed to eliminate racial distinctions among citizens, that every citizen gets treated the same, and that if you are going to use race to make a distinction, you have to jump an enormously high hurdle that in this case could not be done. While the court didn't expressly say it as starkly as you did, that we were wrong for the last 50 years, it pretty much said that. It said that we're not going to allow this to take place anymore, and that the anti-discrimination provisions of the 14th Amendment apply to everybody, not just, former slaves or not just Black Americans.
Yeah, May, good morning. Another ruling that happened at the Supreme Court was the court ruling of President Biden lacking any constitutional authority to forgive more than $430 billion in student debt. Now, Biden has already announced new plans to provide debt relief and support for student loan borrowers. Do you think that he will pull through with these plans here?
I bet he'll try again. This is the provision that Biden is now saying that he's going to use, which is basically the Secretary of Education broad authority to oversee student loans. It's the one that I actually thought that he was going to use in the first place because it's the one that Elizabeth Warren has been asking for a very long time. I have a piece in The Federalist called 5 Reasons Why Joe Biden Can't Forgive Everyone's Student Loans. And also the Trump administration Department of Education put out a memo saying that this provision is not available. So I expect that he'll use it, and I expect he'll go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will once again say that this is illegal. But basically, the gist of it is that it is a sweeping authority that would allow him to forgive everyone's publicly held student loans.
That makes sense. And William, I want to stay with this for a second because I think the Democrats overall, putting the president aside, knew that the president didn't have this type of power of the purse. And let's just take a listen to Speaker Pelosi. This is 2 years ago.
People think that the president of the United States has the power for debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. That has to be an act of Congress.
So, William, I don't often agree with Speaker Pelosi. I didn't agree when I was there with her. I don't usually agree with her now, but I think she's actually right this time. Do you think this is the end of the student debt forgiveness?
Well, I will say that her quote there was quoted in the Supreme Court's opinion. So she had a profound impact on this outcome. I don't think he's going to give it up. They view this as a political winner for them. I think people can disagree with that, but they view it as a political winner for them. They want to give essentially a gift to millions of people, and they are going to stick with it. You know, one of the aspects of this administration, same with Obama, is the use of executive orders and executive action to circumvent and undermine legislation. And so they're not going to give up that tactic. They've done it on immigration, and they're doing it on student loans.
Now, the court also ruled that the state of Colorado cannot compel this is interesting, cannot compel a Christian web designer to design a website for same-sex couples under the First Amendment. Now, a lot of people are still confused by this, and the pro-LGBTQ activists, they see it as discrimination. How do we interpret this, Mai?
Yeah, so actually, I think that the general narrative is wrong. The Supreme Court never said that a web designer does not have to design a website for same-sex couples. So if you are a same-sex couple and you say, I'm starting a business, I have a pizza parlor, I'd like a website, the web designer had no objection to that. So she was absolutely willing to serve gay people, gay couples. The thing that she was against was promoting gay marriage because of her Christian beliefs, which have existed since for thousands of years. So this is not like a unique belief that she has. And the Colorado statute says that you can't discriminate against gay people. She says, I wasn't, but I want to be able to speak. The Supreme Court says, yes, the government, the state government, the federal government cannot compel the speech of artists. And it was agreed here that she was an artist. So I think it's a very narrow decision. I know a lot of liberal businesses are putting no Trump supporters in our business. We're not going to serve you. Well, that is not what the Supreme Court was saying.
Right.
If you are an artist, if you're Taylor Swift and you sing at the Democratic National Committee, then you don't have to sing for the Republicans as well.
Thank you so much, Suri. Coming up on a hard break, William Jacobson and May Mailman, thank you so much for being on the show.